All right, we're gonna say the Lord's Prayer together, the Community of Christ version of it. And you'll see in our lesson that we're gonna look at different versions of it. But let's all say the prayer. Do we need a Bible? Do we need something to remind us, or are we all good?
We're all good.
This is one prayer that we're actually good at in our church. Okay. Ready?
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Suffer us not to be led into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Yeah.
All right. That last part of it isn't in Matthew. I just realized he doesn't have an amen. Oh, we added it. That's cool.
I don't remember where it is, but I remember seeing that there was the other version of the Lord's Prayer in the Book of Mormon also.
Yeah, there is.
The Book of Mormon.
Leave us not in temptation.
The lead us not part is in the Book of Mormon. I didn't actually look for that. I'll show you the 4 different places that I looked.
Leave us not.
Yeah.
Not lead us not.
That's what I said, leave us not.
Yeah.
Actually, lead us not.
Leave.
And
Not in the Book of Mormon.
in the Book of Mormon, it's leave us not.
Yeah, Leave.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, we can talk about that.
So that you don't have to
And
say.
why would Jesus lead us into temptation?
Well, I know that's why we say suffer us
Yeah.
not to be led.
But
That's why
that's
we
what-
changed it, and Pope Francis did too. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's cool.
Here's our chapter 14. Everybody read it. Not showing off and authentic prayer. So those are kind of 2 different things that blend together. And then, of course, he teaches us how to pray at the end with the Lord's Prayer. So we start out Matthew 6:1. Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. That seems a little harsh to me, but
Yeah.
all right. All your lives, everybody knows these scriptures. All your lives, what do you think of this part of it? What is your reaction to do not practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them?
Seen by them.
Right.
So you can practice it if you're not doing it to be seen by them.
Okay.
Because
okay.
if you're doing it to be seen by others, then you're showing off.
No show-offs in heaven.
Say that again.
No show-offs in heaven.
No show-offs in heaven.
No.
So I like how you're splitting it up. Practicing your righteousness is one thing, but to do it in order to be seen by them is the
Is the problem.
warning. Yeah. Okay.
So what does that say about public prayer up front?
I know. We're gonna get there.
To be not seen?
I know. It's really tricky for people who do public ministry.
No, you do it humbly. You're not doing it to show off.
To show off.
Yeah, you're not doing it just to.
So that's why we
Throw it
go
in
up to
their
the front to give prayers?
It's a communal
Are you
prayer.
being devil's advocate today?
Right.
So you're
Somebody has to.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
David, when you need a devil
I would
advocate.
say in most cases, people who participate in worship don't do it to be seen by other people. They do it because they've been asked to do it, and then if they had the choice, they'd probably rather not do it.
Well, what about
me?
I actually schedule the thing, so I don't have that excuse. So I'm doing it to be seen.
You see all these televangelists and they're.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's more.
That's what they do.
I do think you can tell the difference in a prayer that is being said to be seen by others.
I think that what that's meaning is if you're getting up there and say, I can pray better than you can.
Yeah.
Or, I'm so good and you're so bad, but,
Yeah.
I'm just a goody-goody and you're not good.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go, Ryan.
But it's also.
Let's go, Ryan.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll jump in. Yeah, I was just thinking that we can be legalistic about this scripture. Be like, oh, so you can't be seen at all, It's like, well, no, I think it's more about your attitude, and
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a very arguably a very narcissistic society, driven partly by technology, Instagram, social media. All right, you know, oh, I'm going to volunteer for the soup kitchen because this is going to look great on my Instagram story, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well, what is my motive? I can do good,
Mhm.
but is that incidental or is that the driving force?
Yeah.
So I
Intention.
guess,
Intention makes a difference.
Yeah.
April.
I think it's definitely intention, but it's also like, are you praying to get people's attention? Are you praying to say, hey, look at me, I'm so holy, and then turn around and not act that way
Yeah.
in your real
Hypocrite.
life?
The hypocrite. Oh, we'll get to that too. He talks
You know,
about
it's
hypocrite.
kind of, it's definitely that you have to believe what you're actually doing,
Yeah.
not just do it as an act.
If you say it and you don't do it, then
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. No one's going to follow you, or shouldn't. Let's put it that way.
some people in this world have taken the hypocritic oath.
So here's how Andrew Bolton says it. Parading our individual piety is prideful, egotistical, and betrays Christian communal life. He's looking at it as if we're doing it for our individual, aggrandizement or whatever word we want to use, then that's, somebody tell me what you guys think of virtue signaling. I actually didn't look it up on purpose because I think everybody's got a different definition of it, What do you guys think virtue signaling is?
Like I said, I'm goody two shoes.
Yeah. Look how virtuous I am.
Yeah. Well, I read a biography of Benjamin Franklin, and he was trying to overcome all the different. Anyway, he mastered most of them except humility. Every time he thought he was humble, he then announced he was humble.
Yeah, announcing you're humble might not be a humble. That's funny. I like it.
I wonder, Jane, if there's a cultural context behind this that we are not aware of because we live in a different time.
Uh-huh.
To me, as I was reading through this, I thought, Jesus probably wouldn't have addressed this unless it was actually a problem. It was something that was going on a lot in his time. And I just wonder if people made public displays of virtue signaling or whatever, for the purpose of elevating themselves in the eyes of other people.
You think they didn't, or you think they did?
No, I think maybe they did.
They did. Just, they have their
All of
televangelist.
this too is about pleasing God. He says if you do this, you'll get your reward. If you do that, you won't get your reward.
Yeah.
And it kind of has that Old Testament relationship with God, as a transactional God. And so I think maybe a lot of people at that time probably did these things thinking that I'll get brownie points from God.
Yeah.
And my life will be more blessed and I'll have better crops or, whatever.
Yeah.
You're saying we don't do that today?
Well, even the Catholic Church forgot afterwards, they had all these ways of winning God's favor in the young Catholic Church, and it's like that's virtue signaling too, pay enough money. The church.
Somebody mentioned TV preachers, and I think probably in some settings, some people, the Dennis's, do make a public display of this kind of stuff. I don't feel like in this church it's not a problem, at least in my experience.
Well, if you think though, through the years of the different kinds of preachers we've had, I do think there are some preachers who preach to be heard. Not all of them, obviously, but I think it's a danger for somebody who's really good at it, to kind of get an ego.
Charismatic.
Yeah, the charismatic. And our church is always kind of, I don't know, is the stomped down the right word? We do not like charismatics leading our congregations.
Think of Earth Ropeman.
I know.
Well,
And Harry Black.
I acknowledge that probably that does exist. I can remember a particularly charismatic preacher in the RLDS church back in the 60s and 70s. Peltier. And they finally, he was 70, I think, and they finally let him preach in the auditorium, and it was packed. People came out to hear him.
Mm-hmm.
And he made the comment to somebody, I heard it, afterward, that he said, I knew if they'd give me the auditorium, I could fill this place.
There you go. There's that ego. That's a little bit of piety.
It does-
That's virtue signaling right
It
there.
does happen, but again, I think most of us, if we didn't have to preach on a given Sunday, would say, yes.
Mhm.
I will say that you comment about, back in the day, I think Jesus possibly was also commenting about some of the Sadducees and Pharisees that, used their
Mhm.
role to
Mhm.
aggrandize themselves.
I think it's a danger then and now. I think it has always been that danger, and it's something.
Importing realm now, for people
If what?
like that. I mean, in the importing realm, we knew people
Oh, yeah.
who were that way.
Oh, yeah.
You had help
Being-
in church?
It's being an appointee. Oh, I mean, my dad.
was very humble.
My dad never got to be an appointee, and it was a little bit of a rub on him because all the appointees were like, "Oh, I'm an appointee, and you're not." That's how he felt. I don't think
Yeah.
it's true for everybody, but it's hard.
Well, my dad was very humble, but I know he kind of got pushed
Yeah.
aside a couple times because of.
Yeah, there's a little pecking order in the world. Church. Yeah. Go ahead, April.
When you started talking about this, a song popped in my head from my youth, and I could not remember how it went. I had to look it up. And it says the greatest single cause of atheism in the world today is Christians who acknowledge Jesus with their lips, then walk out the door and deny him with their life.
There you go.
That is what an unbelieving world simply finds unbelievable.
We've talked about the unchurched and the people who, and most of the unchurched that I have met have had that experience.
Yeah.
Exactly. They have had the judgment from these pious people.
Yeah.
And, they're like, well, I'm not going back then. Why would I go back to be judged?
Well, to attract people, you need to talk the talk, but you also need to walk the walk.
The walk part is more
Yeah.
important. Go ahead.
I looked up virtue signaling.
Okay, good.
According to Google,
Let's Google it.
it is the act of publicly expressing a moral viewpoint or engaging in symbolic gestures, primarily to demonstrate good character or social awareness.
That's a positive spin.
Yeah, but it's still,
A little bit, like-
you're still doing it primarily to show your good character. I'm good.
Okay, so here is Andrew Bolton's idea of how to practice humility. Being authentic, building community. I like this sentence. Community becomes more important than self. Christian life is a team, not a solo activity. I like that. And then I say,
There's no
Bad
I in
ideas.
team.
there's no I in team. How do we practice humility? And how do we obviously we all want to be good Christians. So how do we do that? How do we be pious? Because that's not a bad word. And then practice humility at the same time.
Learning that humble doesn't mean you can have self-confidence and be humble at the same time. You just have to be careful not to let your ego overtake your self-confidence.
Well, the definition I like of humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less.
Yes.
We heard that recently.
Yeah, I was going to say that. We
Robin,
just heard that recently. We're doing.
What?
Robin.
Okay. Robin said it.
That was,
You're preaching, Robin. Were those your words?
yeah, well, she quoted
Maybe.
somebody.
I like it.
You may have been quoting somebody.
I don't mind it if you were. I'd like to know.
Whenever I hear something cool, I write it down. I have a whole
Yeah.
bunch.
So
I,
you were-
I have no
yeah,
idea where
You
you
were quoting a televangelist.
Okay. Probably.
Oh, she wasn't because that's not what I want to tell. Go ahead. Say it again, Dennis, because I'd really, no, you.
Sharon.
Sharon, you say it again.
Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less.
Because that's an important lesson, especially for people growing up in the Christian faith. We're taught, do unto others as yourself. It's all about not being selfish. So it's almost this lesson for some of us, not all of us. It's this lesson to be self-deprecating and to not think of yourself
Yeah.
first. But, I had a whole weekend, with Harry Black, ironically. Say the whole weekend with this singles retreat I went to years ago was about, love others as yourself also means to love yourself.
Well, it took me a long time to figure that out.
Yeah, yeah.
Way a long
That's not
time.
lesson number one in Christianity
No.
because I guess they assume we're all going to be selfish, but it's still humility and self-confidence don't have to be, opposing to
Right.
each other. Yeah.
That's where the caregivers have to learn the hard fact of yes, you're taking care of somebody else, but you still have to take care of yourself.
Oh yeah. Would you please give us a lesson on that? We need like a whole class.
When I figure out exactly how,
Yeah.
I'll talk to you.
There's a lot of caregivers in our church right now and in our congregation right now, and that's a lesson we have to remind ourselves over and over again. But
Sometimes you have to just give it to somebody else and be like, hey, I can't do this right now. Can you help?
right.
But it's an ongoing lesson and it's hard because you feel guilty for taking care of yourself.
And you shouldn't.
This is a non sequitur, but what's up with Kanitha? She's sick.
She's
Yeah, but
She
she's
was
sick
here
because
yesterday.
she's so stressed. Yeah. I am thinking of Kanitha when I say this. She takes care of so many
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
that she doesn't always take care of herself. And this is just the nature, quite frankly, of how this. I think this is what Christianity teaches us, which it shouldn't. There should be a balance. It's the balance that we need to learn.
It's just hard.
It is.
When you're in the position,
Yeah.
it's just hard.
It is. But we as a congregation need to lift up those who are in those roles to give them that relief if we can, as much as we can. That's what I'm saying. Okay, here's Matthew 6:2-4. This is about giving alms. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets as the hypocrites, there's our hypocrites, do in the synagogues and on the streets to be honored by others. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. That's hilarious. And so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Okay, so I like to put these little sentences up first to get your thoughts before I give you Andrew Bolton's thoughts and
It
mine.
makes me think, about do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. And I'm thinking you're donating stuff and then you donated it and you think, well, where in the world did I put that? Well,
It just makes me think of where people have brain surgery to separate the hemispheres in their head to keep them from having massive seizures. They literally will have their right hand do something and their left hand will come along and be like, stop it. And they won't be able to control it because both sides of their hemisphere, their brains are controlling their arms separately. And so they literally will have one hand doing something, the other hand will have no idea what's going on or try to stop it. It's a fight for them because they literally don't know what each hand is doing.
Is Jesus telling them to do that? I don't want to do that.
That's interesting, but I don't think it really applies to this.
No, it just makes me think about it.
I know, it's like,
Yeah.
April, that's horrible. I'm like, okay, I want my left hand to know what my right hand is doing.
Why did I know you were going to say something like that?
Did you watch the video too?
And I will have to admit to you guys, I lost a trial one time because I was representing an insurance company that the underwriting department didn't know what the claims department was doing. And the judge literally said to me, does the left hand know what the right hand is doing? And I'm like, no, not really.
It looks like no.
So yeah, there's a balance there too. Okay.
The idea, as far as I can see, basically is that whenever you do something good, don't let it elevate you. Let it elevate what you're trying to
What
give
you're
to.
elevating.
Okay, I like that. You got another thought? This is your world.
It's something that I really struggle with because I don't like getting up and campaigning, because you know that's what I do.
Yeah. You never campaign for yourself though, just
I
Yeah. I never
try not
did
to,
that.
but
Yeah.
and I just think I hope people know that my heart's in the right spot. I'm not, I don't like putting myself out there,
Okay.
but I know that's needed. I know that that's my position, that's my job, and well, thank you. There's no one harder on me than me. And so
you got to go back to that
I
humility and
so that's why the humility thing, so spoke to me, because there's yeah. I'm sure it is true of a lot of people.
stay humble. Yeah.
So.
Okay, so on that note, this guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Maimonides.
Maimonides. So he wrote. He was a Jewish scholar. Mishnah. He did the Mishnah Torah. We studied that a little bit. So I kind of listed what the website told me to list. But what I was looking for from Andrew Bolton's book was he also wrote different levels of. I looked it up how to pronounce it. Tzedakah. Am I right? Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's different. These are the translations for this Hebrew word: giving, charity, justice. Keep in mind that word justice, because we're going to come back to that, and righteousness. So he's got 8 different levels, and so I found them. There's his ladder. Can you read it? Okay. Yeah, you can read it. Okay. So let's go to the bottom first. I really like it. Giving unwilling after being asked. That's like the lowest level of giving. Do it. And then number 2, giving a small amount cheerfully after being asked. I love these levels. And then 3, giving a sufficient amount after being asked. Giving directly to the needy without being asked. Now see, it's weird to me that that's 4. And then he talks about giving anonymously without knowing the receiver. And then giving anonymously to someone you know is needy. And then giver and receiver are anonymous. That's an interesting one. I guess that's what we do for Center of Hope.
That's what we do.
We just,
yeah.
and I don't care. They don't know me. I don't know them. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the number one thing, and this is where I think, Robin, this is where you should feel good about your work, because what you do is you help people become self-sufficient, both in our congregation, helping us teach, and help the needy. But when you and Jonathan and all of our congregation go down to the shelter, I see what you guys are doing, and it's really helping those people become self-sufficient. And this seminar that we went to with the World Church, that's what every facility in Kansas City talks about, is that you got to help them become self-sufficient. Otherwise, it's just us giving
Continue
them food.
will enable them.
Yeah, it's us enabling.
Give them the fish, they'll eat.
I know.
Teach them to fish, they'll eat.
I know, but teaching them to fish is really, really hard.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Especially if
one
what
day
they want to
lesson.
do is hunt bears or whatever.
It's a constant.
Well, it's more of an investment on our part.
Yes, it's an investment. Ooh, we can put that up there. Okay. I keep putting words up there that I keep hearing from people know what we need to be talking about in church. Okay. Any more discussion on that? What do you guys think of that chart? Are we agreeing with it?
Interesting. I wish I
We're-
could see all the little illustrations better.
I'll forward it to you guys.
Okay.
We do our weekly grocery shopping. We start at Aldi, and maybe once a month there's somebody there asking for handouts.
Yeah.
And it's one guy is about half of that.
Yeah.
And usually I'll give him something, but I'm not really.
You give them
It's not
something
real
from
happy.
Aldi, or do you give them
No, I
money?
give him some money.
Okay.
I'm not real happy about it, but it's something that they probably really do need.
I know. But
You're
they
at the
tell us.
bottom one, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
You're number one.
That one.
Maybe we each do these at different levels at different times in our lives. But the the shelter people tell us not to do that. I've actually stopped
Yeah.
since I went to that seminar because they say that it doesn't help them become self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Giving them food is better.
Give them a can of green
But-
beans next time, Russ.
Yeah.
Give them a can of green beans.
A can, good idea. And they want us to take, which I'm never going to do,
Like
by the
this,
way.
this one guy needed, he needed $7 or something to ride a bus somewhere.
Oh, I
You
bet
know,
I've,
and they may or
I've
may
gotten
not
that.
be,
Not true.
may or may not be true. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Probably isn't. But yeah, I'm with you. I think it's
I didn't
something
give
we all do.
$20. I gave
Go
him
ahead.
a couple.
going to Operation Breakthrough, there's two different corners that, or there's probably more than two, but I noticed two corners where actually three, that there's always someone.
Mhm.
And I don't give them money, but I always have these packages of crackers, peanut butter crackers.
Mhm.
And so I rolled down my window. I said, I don't have any money, but would you like some crackers? Yeah.
And they
I
say a bag of like deodorant and stuff like that. Have that in your car. That's one thing. They want us to take them to the shelter, and I won't do that. You know, I mean, you have to feel safe yourself.
I used to hand out water,
Okay.
Mhm.
but there's not as many people standing on corners in Overland Park.
No, yeah, there are.
Well, it depends on the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go past
But
the
it's-
corner every time I go to work, you know, and I have that
But,
thought
yeah,
raging in
I had-
me now.
I had water. Sometimes I'd have
Yes.
a snack or something that I'd hand out to them too.
Yeah.
I do think the fact that we talk about it means that we are aware that we're trying to do it for the right reasons, you know. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, I've had experiences in my neck of the woods that a lot of people over here don't experience because they live in Johnson County. However, James, my homeless guy, unless they're willing to accept sound advice,
Mhm.
in a sense, I got to a period of time where I'm just wasting my time with this guy. I even called the stake president and talked to him about it, and he encouraged me to continue to be friendly to him and all that. And
Mhm.
so I just continue to, when I see him, I'm not giving him any more advice.
Mhm.
The last advice I gave him, we had a bottle of whiskey. And I looked over at him and I said, there's no future in drinking that stuff. I said, that's Satan's sauce. And if you drink it straight out of the bottle like that, you will suffer loss. And,
I'm pretty sure he saw that as judgment more than helping.
Yeah.
Just FYI. You know,
Yeah, I
you're
told
right.
him.
I think you're right. They're going to reject that every time.
yeah,
But I also think you're right about having boundaries. I think boundaries are important. And all these shelters have boundaries, you know, and they say to them, if you're drinking, you can't stay here. You know,
yeah.
that's just the rule. And so I do think they have to learn somehow. I don't know how, because I agree with you. I don't think that you can help everybody. But somehow, you know, the people who are really good at it are the ones that, you know, encourage, you know, like one of the guys at our seminar said that he likes to go hang out at Hy-Vee because there's lots of beggars there. And he invites them in for lunch at Hy-Vee because that's a public place.
Yeah.
And then they just chat and he gets to know that person. And then he talks about the shelter, you know. And I thought, you know, I like that, you know.
Mhm.
So there's different ways we can do it.
My attitude is like I do things that I can give to people anonymously and everything, but I don't give them money anymore, and I try not to judge them about, you know, when people do give them money, a lot of them use them for alcohol or drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be cynical about it, but I had a lot of those patients that were homeless, that were frequent flyers for alcoholism, were coming in stoned, and we would talk to them, and we always had to ask them, are you on any other drugs? Are you taking anything? And they'd be like, well, I don't want to get in trouble with the law. And it's like, I don't care what you took. I need to know so that if I give you something and it interacts, we know. Absolutely. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, I did this, and this. Yeah. It's like, well, a couple of them, we got really to know them. And they said, yeah, everything that they make on the streets, they put into drugs and alcohol. They don't care about sleeping on the streets. No. They're used to it.
This is what that disease does to them. I mean, that's
addiction is.
Yeah, it's an addiction. I mean, we all.
So I'm with the people that run the shelters. Don't give them money. Give them food. Give them things that they can use. Not sell.
And they acknowledged for us. I mean, it takes a unique individual to do that every day, to be in that business. But even for us, it's hard. It's a lot easier to hand them, $1 or a $10 bill or whatever out our door, out our window. The rest of it is harder, and I think it's supposed to be harder. That's what being a humble Christian is about. It's a little harder. Okay, we're going to move to the next. We're going to go into our prayer. So when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think they will be heard. One version says Gentiles, which I was going to, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Lawyers have that problem. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Okay, so here we are with our public prayer versus private prayer debate. I wanted to push into the fasting because Andrew Bolton and the scriptures kind of puts them together, because fasting is normally a very private event. Am I right on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Andrew Bolton says, fasting can express regret for sinning, be for spiritual elevation, and be on special days, like Yom Kippur and the Day of Atonement. Fasting can also be in solidarity with the hungry, the poor, and oppressed. I never actually thought about fasting for that reason. So here's the question. Where do you see the connection between that scripture that we just read? If you want me to go back, I'll show it to you again. Between fasting and prayer. And in your own life, and perhaps what you would like for the congregation too, because some of what we do is communal, but some of it is also very individual. So how do you see that connection? Jim.
Of course, Christ is our example when he went into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, and very, very few of us could do that. Yeah. And growing up in Mapleton, going to the Mapleton church, I remember once in a while the pastor would call for a fast, but it's breakfast and dinner, but in the evening we could eat.
That's okay.
So it wasn't
the fast
like,
is important too.
I mean, it wasn't like a 24-hour fast.
Yeah.
Like Ramadan.
But we skipped the breakfast and their traditional Sunday dinner, and then we'd eat something in the evening. But I mean, it was, compared to what Christ went through, is a pretty small thing.
That's true.
In this congregation, a long time ago, every time we had communion, at least my family would skip breakfast, basically.
too.
It's sort of a very short-term
It was
fast.
really, really hard as a kid. A little piece of bread. That's it.
Well,
Makes you hungrier.
Yeah.
I know.
At least mom had roast beef for us for lunch. You know, that helped.
I was gonna say every time I try to fast, I immediately think I'm hungry. I've never been good at fasting.
So I do think you're right. I do think getting into that level of praying and fasting, because like you said, when you really start fasting, all you're thinking about is yourself and how hungry you are. But I do think that perhaps Christ and Andrew Bolton is trying to remind us that that putting those two together is important. Go ahead, April.
So for praying and fasting, like I have never been one that prays out loud very much. Almost always just pray in my head and do silent prayers for people as I go. Like throughout the day, I'll just be like, oh, I pray that that person has a good day or has a better day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then fasting, I do feel like traditionally it is staying away from food or drink or whatever, but it also in this day and age could be fasting from your cell phone,
Yeah.
from the internet, from TikTok, whatever's that thing that you have to have all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm starving, let me not eat for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That's why like Lent is so hard for people because they think, oh, I'm going to give up only sweets or I'm going to give up only coffee, where it can be, I'm going to give up the internet or I'm going to give you YouTube or something. Ryan's tried to fast from YouTube before and he always finds himself back on it. And it kind of cracks me up.
It's supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
Whatever you choose to fast from. I do think that's kind of the point.
Right.
You know?
But like for people like me, and it's weird to say, but I have a weird eating disorder where I can go without eating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it has caused me to screw up my metabolism horribly because I'm just not hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have my water bottle with me today, but it says on there, it has a sticker on there that says eating is not optional. Because I can go forever or for a very long time without eating and not even care.
Yeah.
But it does, there is something about like you have to take care of your body. And for me, fasting is not a way to take care of my body.
I think in the Old Testament there were rules about fasting, and if you were elderly or sick, those were reasons not to participate in them.
You're pregnant also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or diabetic.
Yeah.
I think fasting can be, or just not eating, can be triggered by having something else to be concerned about continually. I know when Dorothy had her stroke, I lost about 6 pounds when she was in the hospital, and then we both had
And I lost
cold.
5 pounds.
Yeah, and we both had colds afterwards, and I lost another 6 pounds.
Jeez. That was your
Yeah,
worry.
stress
That
can
was your
definitely
stress.
cause-
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
That was not fasting.
that's not fasting.
That was your body.
But it's
Yeah,
but
your
I,
mind.
what I'm getting at is it's if you're thinking about praying,
Yeah.
and that could be a trigger for fasting.
There's a healthy way to do it. You know,
Yeah.
there's juice fasts. It's not there to make you sick. It's there to make you, focus and
on
prayer and meditate. That's what fasting is. And like you said, it doesn't have to be food. It can be anything.
Well, in the youth group when I was in high school, the weekend fast, And
I think I went to that. What's with Sherry?
yeah,
And then we made
did
bread.
juice fast.
And then didn't we make bread so we were all starving, smelling the bread baking?
No, the bread came to us afterwards. But
That's what I
we
remember
did
about
juice
that.
fast, and somebody got all upset. It was one of the leaders got all upset because Sherry had put juice boxes in the freezer so that we'd have something to chew on. And they're like, no, that's eating technically.
Oh,
And it's like, it's juice.
I don't,
Get over
I
it.
don't think it was me. Yeah. It's juice. It's fine. Juice fast.
But it was
Yeah.
it was definitely like,
Yeah, especially with kids, you know, you still want them to focus, for goodness sake, you know. If they're starving, they can't focus. So that was a tough lesson for you guys to learn. You know, I remember that. Go see, here's what Isaiah says about fasting. Is not this kind of fasting I have chosen to loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke? Is it not to share your food with the hungry and to provide the poor wanderer with shelter, when you see the naked to clothe them and not to turn away from your own flesh and blood? I thought that was interesting that that's in the fasting category. So my question is, how do you see fasting, if you do, as helping loose the chains of injustice?
Well, it would make one more aware of the hungry and what they go through and so on.
Awareness.
It's just like my homeless character, James. I don't give him advice anymore, but if I have an extra orange or banana after shopping at Sunfresh in Westport,
Mhm,
I'll give him an orange or banana.
mhm.
I'll say, "Are you hungry?" And he'll always say he's hungry, so I'll give him either an orange or a banana.
That's good.
I mean, that's something.
Good.
The Boy Scouts, this isn't an injustice, but a lot of Boy Scout groups and some church groups will have a time that they camp out in a box. You know, they have to go get a box, and it's so they have the understanding of what some of the homeless, how they
That's quite a lesson.
live
Yeah.
in the winter.
In the winter?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's just
winter camp.
That's just cool. All right.
It's kind of like paying tithing, because if you think only of yourself, then tithing makes you think of someone else.
Mm-hmm,
It re-centers your priorities.
mm-hmm.
And so that's what this reminds me of, is, you know, to recenter your focus
I like that.
on others rather than yourself.
Okay.
Well, fasting, you know, it's not just food. That's one way to fast. But if you are trying to change behavior, so you say, I watch too much TV, I'm going to fast from TV. Or I'm on YouTube too much, I'm going to fast.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It isn't just not doing that behavior. It's with that time.
Yeah.
What can I do instead?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to improve my education? Do I need to go visit my neighbors? Do I need to go work at Center of Hope? Do I need to whatever?
Yeah. Outside of
You're not
yourself.
just stopping something, you're trying to fill it with something else.
And there's a lot of worthy things to fill it with. I mean, it could be for justice for the poor, but it also could be for recentering yourself on what your needs are too, because all of that is still love.
Gandhi used fasting to try to bend people to his will.
He did, and it worked.
Well, yeah, it did.
I remember,
He was famous, of course.
but before he was famous, when he was a leader in that group, and all of they were fighting. I mean, it's in the movie. I think it's in a book too, but the whole city was fighting, and he fasted until they stopped fighting, and he got himself really, really skinny, and then both leaders from the two factions that were fighting, it was really powerful in the movie. They kneeled before him and they said, Father, stop fasting, please eat. And they together gave him bread. And so it's like that was powerful fasting, you know.
I think, it's interesting. A lot of times embedded in the Mosaic Law, there are things that people did to keep the law that actually had health benefits
Yeah,
that they didn't realize back then.
yeah.
And, now fasting has, I don't know all the particulars about it, but some people do short-term fasting every day.
Mhm,
And so they'll have a 12 to 16-hour period where they don't eat
mhm,
food.
mhm.
And then during an 8 to 12-hour period where they can have food, that's when they take their meals. One of the great generals in the Middle East, the American generals, only ate one meal a day, and he was fairly famous for that because he could use the rest of the time, the free time, to
And he was
do his
still
job.
healthy. It worked for him.
Yeah, it worked for him. And I think there are probably some health benefits for short-term
Yeah.
fasting. And the other thing about fasting is a way to bring your will into a line with what you want. So many of the things that Jesus taught, like we talked about, loving our enemies, are exercises of the will.
Mhm.
And if we don't practice that, we can't ever become good at it. And fasting is an easy way to practice doing something willfully.
Mhm. And to get your will aligned with God's will.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Well, there are people that have used fasting. Gandhi was one. I remember there was a woman suffragette back in the early 1920s, I think it was, before she went on. I guess you call it. She actually was starving herself. They force fed her, but she was protesting not having the right to vote.
Exactly.
And in the 70s, it seemed like the 70s or 80s, in Ireland, there were IRA guys that were in prison that they were fasting, protesting the British government and all that. And they fasted to the point, I think, where they were going blind. And some of them, they finally started force feeding them. But those were to protest what they,
Right.
the injustice,
Yeah.
that what you were talking about.
Yeah. There you go. That's there now.
This is a bit related. This is a bit related to peaceful protest and the like. That all depends upon who you're protesting, because if you're protesting and the people you're protesting to are basically decent human beings, they'll pay attention to it.
It might take a while.
But if it might.
Again, using Gandhi as an example, their protests, they would all stand in line at whatever that factory was that was exploiting people, and they knew that they would get hit, that it would be beat, and then people would just come and get them, pull them back to the back of the line, and then the next people would come up and get beat.
And
so sometimes it takes
even the racial protests,
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Our protests should always be peaceful. To me, that's the main thing. Is when we're talking about whatever we're upset about in our country right now, it doesn't work if the protests aren't peaceful. It just doesn't. Then the sides are going to just start yelling at each other.
It also depends upon the people that you're protesting to being decent human beings.
Well, I don't think it depends. I think you got to do it no matter what.
Well, I'm saying how effective it is.
I think you do it until it's effective. You just keep doing it. It doesn't work if you stop. Oh well, it's not working.
If you're a German Jew in 1944, you have a problem.
I know, but it took a long time. But I've been anybody watching the History Channel or get the podcast of Tom Hanks talking about World War II. There's a whole section about how different resistance, even in the death camps, they were finding ways of resisting. So it's not as effective.
There were a lot.
There was a lot.
I mean,
so
people would ask if we had done Gandhi's method towards the Nazis, is that it would have, at some point, the Nazis would have fallen off, but it would have been many, many, many years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's effective? You kind of have to know, what do you go?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think Andy said about it that it wouldn't be without losses.
Many losses.
Yeah.
Lots of losses.
Well, this is a bit off the subject from fasting, but what we've been talking about just now. But that there was another thing that Gary Logan used to have give some things, advice about fasting, and then he was pretty much all in favor of it. And he pointed out some health benefits, and maybe not for April, but for a lot of people, apparently he thinks that there was some good things just about your own health too.
Yeah. I've been on juice fasts that were very cleansing and it made me feel good later.
There's definitely something to be said about the power of fasting, but it's the voluntarily fasting that's better than I think it was in South Africa or something, a church that ended up in a compound kind of place that the leader forced the congregation to fast until they started dying. And he had such control over them that him and his enforcers were definitely, it wasn't Jones, but it was.
I know. We all think of Jim Jones. Keep cool. Yeah.
It wasn't Jones, but it was the guy would feed all of his enforcers and himself, and they would be getting fat, and they wouldn't let any of the people leave. And
he was supposed to be their leader.
Yeah, it was a church. And yeah, it was bad because he was controlling them through fasting, and he told them, this is strengthening your relationship with God. And when they weren't dying fast enough, then he was like, oh, well, let's help you. And they'd take them out and kill them. And, it was just kind of like, okay, well, let's quit twisting swords
so much
here.
abuse around this.
I don't want to be repetitious, but have we talked about fasting as a way of showing your reliance on God symbolically?
Well, Jim pointed out that's what Jesus did. I mean, I think it, remember in Jesus's fasting, he kept saying, I don't want this. Take this cup away from me. I like how human he was in those. I mean, it was hard for him. And it was at the end that he said, not my will, but yours.
Yeah, it was a traditional way of the righteous of showing.
Yeah. So to me, that's a really important part of fasting.
God will sustain me. I don't need, in this period of time, I don't need food or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to get to the Lord's Prayer, which is like the second half of this chapter. So who's doing next week? You guys can choose whether to let me do it or you do it. But I wanted to go back since we have a few minutes. I was going to skip this, but I actually liked it a lot. Matthew 6:8. When you fast, do not look somber as the hypocrites do, where they disfigure their faces to show others they are fasting. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that it will not be obvious to others that you are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And I said, oil on your head?
It's probably grill cream.
Just a little dab.
Yeah.
The grill cream on your head.
I think this must be historical, because I think if you put oil on your head and wash your face, it would make you more obvious than.
What the heck? Anybody know?
I think it's more of take a bath, like wash up, make yourself look like you're not dying of hunger. Kind of.
Again, I think public displays of misery culturally in this time were acceptable. You think about the Old Testament scriptures about putting on sackcloth and ashes when people were mourning. And it was the custom to actually put on a sackcloth and cover yourself in ashes, so you could stand on the street corner and people could see how miserable you truly were.
That's disfiguring themselves to show others.
Yeah, and again, I think it's all part of this, transactional relationship with God, that if God sees me looking miserable, then God will have compassion on me. People tried to bend God to their will by doing certain things.
Yeah.
It's it's different now. It's hard to relate to that because historically we don't put on sackcloth.
Well, I have to tell you though, I just saw the movie The Odyssey and it spoke to me. I mean, God or gods have been telling this forever. Not my will, but not your will, but mine. And it took poor Ulysses 20 years to learn it, and the Cyclops to learn it. But I do think it's a lesson we have to continue to learn. I do think that, people still want credit for what they're doing in the world, and I think that the reason why I bring up the Odyssey is because that theater was packed, number one, and then I'm talking to 30-year-olds afterwards about the meaning, of this man's journey, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's still relevant, So this is still relevant. I just don't, the oil on the head thing threw me.
Well, that's the process of anointing. I mean, we still put oil on
Yeah,
today to.
I was thinking that too. And we do it for our, we do that for our administrations.
Yeah, so, when Samuel anointed David and poured the oil on his head and
Yeah.
Saul and the different ones.
And Martha put all the oil on Jesus's feet. I liked that
Those were
imagery.
comfort measures when you've been out on the road and you're hot and you're tired and, it's kind of like us going in and taking a nice shower or something after a hot day.
Well, and even, I mean, for women, we put our, our favorite perfume on, and sometimes it's actually cathartic. It's like I put my patchouli on, and I'm like,
Why did they put it on their wrist? Is that because of the days when guys used to
It's
kiss their
warmer.
hands or something?
No, we do it for ourselves, Paul. We do it for ourselves. Yeah.
Well, also the wrist is warm.
I don't know why.
There, because there's
Yeah.
artery right there.
So
It's a scent
it
place.
makes it change the scent of it.
That's easy to read.
And for the men. Okay, never mind.
James,
And you can go.
there's
Yeah.
a website called Jesus Alive. Basically says that oil was used for consecrating leaders, healing the sick, personal grooming, and fueling lamps. So the grooming part makes sense.
Well, and consecrating, I kind of like the idea of, I never thought about, for those of us who have done administration, have you ever thought about just doing it for yourself?
No,
Me neither.
My grandmother,
Maybe he's telling us to.
that's how I'm interpreting this,
Okay.
because putting the oil on your head is asking for God's blessing.
Yes.
And then washing your face is putting on a brave face.
Yes.
And go forth, that you're going forth with the Spirit of God with you.
I think in
So that's how I'm
modern terms,
interpreting it.
take a shower, wash your face, put on your makeup.
But I'm telling you, for administrations are powerful because of that consecration. At least to me, they are. When you and I did one recently, and it's like the whole process is powerful because of the oil, because of the concentration, because of the focus. And it's like, this is telling me you can do it for yourself too, Jane. It's like, oh.
you made me think of something I haven't thought of in years. My grandmother would ask one of the elders in her congregation to consecrate a bottle of olive oil, and she'd keep that in her home. And I think a lot of the women did. They weren't in the priesthood at that time. If she had a headache, she put some oil on her head. If she had an injury or sprained
Your
her
grandmother knew this lesson.
literally anoint herself with consecrated oil.
Let's do that.
It's not the same as the sacrament, but for her it had spiritual meaning and gave her a sense of healing.
We had a
Did you? Yeah.
we had a bottle in our refrigerator when I was growing up.
That's
That's the only thing we ever used.
That's what I'm doing. I'm still planning the spiritual practices service in a couple of weeks, and okay, you just gave me an idea. Those little bottles that you can get of oil.
Yeah.
Why not have the elders consecrate it for others?
It was a very common practice back in the day.
I never heard of
This is what this.
If you want a really holy meal, just scribble a little.
All right, we got ideas. This is good. Okay, so somebody's going to do Lord's Prayer next week. I don't know. It might be me.
It's me. But you
You want me to do
wanna
it?
continue on, or what do you want to do?
We'll chat.